The presidential election has concluded and the nation awaits the results. This year's election was different from any other years. According to the town clerk, more residents voted this year than in previous elections. There were 32,918 registered voters this year, and of those 28,029 cast ballots. This is 85%. As a comparison, 83% of Arlington voters participated in 2016 general election. An overwhelming majority of the town's residents, 23,024 voted for Biden and Harris, while 4,313 went for Trump and Pence. Julie Brazel, Arlington's town clerk, is here with more information.
This election, we did have more voters, so I can't officially certify the election before the 13th because we have to wait for any ballots to arrive from overseas voters who are eligible to vote in the election. And they get 10 days for their ballots to arrive in the mail. And then because of the changes this year, the extension to the deadline, there were just a lot of questions about, when will my ballot be counted? And the answer is we count all the ballots on election day. We scan them all into the tabulators.
Expanded early and mail-in voting contributed to more votes being cast, according to the town clerk. Many people voted by mail, so the polling stations were not crowded on election day.
I felt it was extremely easy. I came here last week and walked in. I was probably the only person there in line. I was in and out in minutes.
This was the vast majority were mailed in. We only had a really just maybe 6,000 people who voted in person. We had thousands and thousands of ballots in the mail. That was the primary way most people voted. I do think that having that option did make it easier for people. You might have had to stand in a line for 20 or 30 minutes, and that's not easy for everyone or safe in a pandemic. So anyway, I think the option that the state provided for doing the mailing made it so easy that a lot of people took them up on it, and I think that system worked pretty well. And people were able to use the secure drop boxes if they were worried about the mail, which just took some strain off of the post office.
The most dramatic difference from the previous election was the sanitizing. Poll workers did constant sanitizing of equipment and their own hands, and sanitizing stations were spread throughout the hall. Also, new machines were placed at the polling station.
Two main differences. One is that we have these new machines, and the new machines are much more sophisticated. The other thing they can do is they can do ranked choice voting. The other thing we're doing throughout the day is that we're sanitizing pens, we're sanitizing spaces, we're making sure that everything's kept safe. So that's different than we've done in the past.
Even though the majority of residents voted by mail, some residents still came to the polling stations.
Oh, it was very easy. We expected a lot of lines, but it went really smoothly.
Yeah. Well, last year I went later at night, and it was definitely a little bit more hectic because there wasn't so much early voting and mail-in ballots.
I voted in the primaries here as well, and they did a really great job of making everything safe and, socially distant and stuff. So I live just a couple blocks away from here, so I figured why not just come here.
Also, police officers were standing by to offer guidance when needed.
They're required to be there in their official capacity, just to keep the ballot safe and to make sure that nobody's holding signs too close to the precinct and all of that. But yeah, this year I did notice they did step up and they were trying to help voters make sure they knew which precinct they needed to vote in.
Lastly, the town clerk had this message for Arlington residents who made this election a real team effort.
I just want to say thank you to everyone. The voters were great. The election workers were great. And I was just so happy that it went smoothly. Voters felt safe and comfortable in the precincts. We got all the ballots counted. None of the machines broke. It was really, it was a good election day. But it's a team effort, and I'm really grateful.
As the governor has said, every eligible voter has right to cast their vote. So the town will make sure that every vote is counted. For ACMi News, I'm Inyeong Kim.